Welcome back, Encountering the Unknown. Dr. Paul Evadanian and my son Paul Evadanian Jr. here.
Back again,
episode 12. We're going to call this one what? I think The Doll from Hell.
Whoa, not cool.
Yes, so some information.
Yes, well, starting off, I have to apologize to everyone. Again, I'm a repeat offender these days. But in the last episode, I believe there were some important pictures that I had put up that never made it, and I apologize for that. So I will make sure that those get into this episode right now. See a slideshow. It's going to be awesome, and we're going to put more than just the ones we promised.
Good.
And The Doll from Hell, we'll get right into it.
Tell us about it.
So apparently there's been a paranormal group touring. It's the New England Society of Psychics, or the ones that the Warrens founded back in the day. Okay. And the current administration or owners of it have decided to go on a countrywide or nationwide tour with the Annabelle doll and other relics from the Warrens Museum. Okay. So they were just in Louisiana not too long ago. And just starting off with everything, they brought the doll there, and a plantation that was over 160 years old just suddenly burned down. And it was well preserved and everything. And it was like,
coincidence?
I don't know, but this doll, like, they've brought it to other places, and there have been freak accidents like that.
How about the inmates in New Orleans that escaped too?
Oh no,
they were helped by some people from the inside though.
That's
but
crazy.
We don't know. It was the same area. It was the same state.
Something like that.
Now, is this, you're going to maybe give a little history of the doll, if you would?
Yeah, so back in the 1970s in Hartford, Connecticut, there were two nursing students who shared an apartment, and I believe it was Donna and Angie. Those were both of the roommates, and Donna's mom, for Christmas, gave her a Raggedy Ann doll. And it was supposed to be
new.
Yeah,
right?
brand new.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a little gift.
Yep.
It wasn't cursed. It wasn't like someone put a hex on it and just gave it to her. But then they noticed when they brought the doll back, and they had been living in this apartment for a little bit. The account is that they noticed strange things happening with this doll. Like, either it would be moved in different spots, or it'd like move around the apartment without anyone touching it. And then there were like various instances where they claimed that it was like writing on the walls and stuff, and red and stuff. So I just said double stuff. That's funny. But yeah, no, then something else that was kind of shocking was they claimed they got rid of the doll. And I think this was even portrayed in the Conjuring movie for a brief little couple introduction minutes. And they said they got rid of the doll, they threw it away, and then like nights later, either it was the next night or other nights, they heard banging on the door at like 3 a.m. or something. I'm just saying 3 a.m. now because that adds a little bit. And then when they opened the door, it was the Annabelle doll sitting right there. So it's pretty freaky.
It is very freaky.
And they had a medium called out to go check it out, and the person said that they believed that it was the spirit of a little girl who lived on the property and died on the property a long time ago. But
we know what that can mean sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They say it was a little girl.
Little
right?
girl, not a little girl.
Yeah.
So then the Warrens later were called to this, and they investigated and everything, and they ruled that it was a demonic possession or infestation of the doll, and then the apartment where everything was going on, and like eventually, Ed locked it away, sealed it, so it was crazy.
Is it still sealed? Is it encased in something?
Yeah, it's it's supposed to be encased in this glass box, glass and wooden box, so that it can't, have any spiritual whatever on people, but what I've been seeing in videos all over like Instagram and TikTok, anything related to this tour, I forget the name of it, but I've seen that they take it out and they do whatever.
Out of the box?
Yeah, they take it out of the box.
You've seen that?
I saw they were transporting it, and they had like multiple priests there blessing it continuously.
Wow.
Because they didn't want to risk anything, which, I mean, I'd be in the same boat. But then you're also like, why are you even messing with it at that point?
Right.
Like, so yeah, July 11th to the 13th, this doll is actually coming to yours truly, Gettysburg, PA.
Wow.
And yeah, no, it's going to be a whole thing. And they're also bringing other haunted objects or relics from the museum, like I said. And this is the first time that they're really doing all this with all these different things. So it's going to be...
And I think it's bike weekend, bikers
no.
weekend too. So it's going to be
a charge.
People charged anyway.
Yeah.
Like the battlefield, everything we've talked about, the bridge, everything probably will get fired up. Don't you think?
Definitely.
So, what do you think about that? If it's outside the box, that's probably not a good thing,
Yeah, because then I think like allowing it, giving that kind of opportunity to make a move. They could say, "Oh, but we were watching it the whole time; it couldn't do anything." But you can't see most supernatural things. Like, our thing was pretty rare. And viewers, you guys probably have had experiences and stuff.
Out there with similar things. And so I guess we just wanted to talk about it, briefly and maybe just put a warning to people that, you better, have some type of protection before you mess with that. And I'm sure they would tell you that too, the people at Paranormal Society. From Massachusetts or New England, because it's not something to be fooled with or messed with. And we better all take that seriously. So that's what we want to talk, because that's coming up soon.
Yeah, that'll be here before you know it.
6 weeks or something.
Don't be there by accident if you didn't want to be there. So just mark it down, the 11th to the 13th. If you don't want to be there, don't be there. And if you do, like you said,
might get some cool stuff, and might the whole battle zone, the whole battlefield, including the town, will be charged, like you said.
Definitely.
So it might be good for paranormal activity. Obviously.
And that'll be interesting, though, to see the effects of, sorry, I saw a fuzz.
Annabelle.
Yeah, like, also with all those people coming, they're coming to either see that, or they're just coming for the biker weekend or other stuff. So there is already energy being given.
And there's some other relics, too, I think.
And the other relics, which, they could have been from worst cases.
Museum,
yeah, the Warrens, they had their big museum and everything, and pretty renowned. And a lot of respect out to those guys.
So maybe, people can comment on, on our podcast if they go and check it out, and what do they see or find, or
definitely
pictures. So that'd be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys do go,
that was our little plug about that. So
you're
welcome. No, it's fine. It's all good.
Little plug-in about that.
So last time we finished up with encountering at the bridge, some encounters at the bridge. We're going to come back to the bridge several times in the next, several episodes.
Very active.
What did you want to talk about today?
Well, today, I feel like there's a couple different ways we could go with this, because we are at a good spot where a lot of things have happened that we've talked about, and then we also have a lot of things that we could fill in behind of what we've talked about. But before we move any further in our main storyline, I think it's important to address that, some of it does get dark eventually, especially in 2019 when we reference that. Was a very dark and heavy, I think, year paranormal-wise for us. It was a lot of answers were, just being answered.
A lot of questions were raised.
Too, a lot of answers. They beg other questions and stuff. We'll have to definitely start talking about that soon. But just before that, I think it's important to, like I said, look back at some of the areas maybe where we haven't, touched on too much. Like with the some of the negative stuff we've already talked about, like at the bridge, the winged creature, the lurcher. And I mean, now we just talked about the doll. How is that going to affect that? Like, you don't even know. Is it going to permanently change the dynamic of the, like, spiritual layout of Gettysburg, or what is it going to be like? And then something also I forgot to mention about the Annabelle doll thing is that there's no age restriction, but we do not recommend bringing small children, young children, to see this thing because they are very impressionable and innocent, and things like that. They can easily take hold and charge of something like that and just be like, oh yeah, you're just bringing me what I want, basically.
Can somebody become possessed by this, or
I don't know,
influenced by that? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I agree with you there. You know, I would just say adults only. Now it's up to them. They're the ones who have the doll and, you know, doing this, but hopefully, like you said, they had it prayed over and you know, remove any, you know, attachment at the time. I'm not sure how
definitely
that works out, but I'm staying away, I think, that week.
Yeah.
Right? How about you?
Yeah, I don't have plans in Gettysburg that weekend.
I'll go before and probably months after, but
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what else is going on there?
Well, would you want to talk about the white lady incident?
The white lady, the lady in white. Yeah, she was a white lady too.
The lady.
So that was interesting because I guess after we were at, I think we talked about Jenny Wade, didn't we? Or no, the Jenny Wade house.
We had talked about Jenny Wade, and we could even do a recap.
Yeah, but I think when we were there, the person giving the tour said that somebody recently had got permission to take pictures of the monuments for a book at night, a professional photographer. And he was there like at 2, 3 in the morning, whatever. And then he heard a woman screaming. That's what supposedly happened. And he ran from there. He stopped he stopped taking pictures and he left. So remember, she had told us that.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was when we were outside.
Yeah, so I think it was a couple weeks later when we went back.
Yeah, it was
within a month.
It may have been like 2 to 3.
So I remember we pulled up on Vermont.
Yeah,
Vermont
Cavalry
Field. And I remember
spot.
My SD cards were full, and I was erasing some things, moving things over, and you and Dr. Z had walked out to the monument, right?
Yeah.
And then I lost touch with you for a little bit. And tell us what happened then.
I remember seeing like a light in the distance, and I was like, "What is that?" Like one of those little the candle or flame
like
lights.
A lantern.
A lantern, not a lantern.
A thing that lights up.
A light. Yeah. Sorry, guys. No. I saw the lantern and I could see it moving, but I didn't see anything attached at first. And then it just got really close, and then all of a sudden I saw this lady in white. And she was ghostly looking, like the description said. And at this point, I was kind of a little bit before. I was like, maybe it happened. That's a pretty big claim to say.
Right.
This very specific looking figure showed up and everything. And they gave us a little bit of history that she was looking for her husband or something like that, and she passed away. Or they didn't know what happened.
Drove her nuts, I think, because she was trying to find her husband or her boyfriend or fiance that
part of the Union Army
might have been there. She lost touch with him, and so you saw. Then you started to see her too. You saw the lantern moving like on its own, or
because I could still see all the other spirits who were there, and I saw them before. But then I just saw the lantern, and then she showed up, and immediately she was like aggressive. I remember
to you.
Yeah, and she yelled. She was like, "What are you doing here?" Like in my face. And I remember Dr. Z and I were like, "Whoa!" Like I remember he could probably even say that he felt like a rush of like cold and temperature
around
change.
You, which we felt there a lot too.
Yeah, definitely.
Waves of cold.
So then she kept on saying that. She said it probably.
But Dr. Z couldn't see her.
No, but he could
hear her, but you could.
I could hear her, and she was loud.
Like close to you guys?
Yeah, she was probably like maybe where the camera is to
like 5 to 6 feet away.
Yeah. And I remember the other spirits were like looking at her like, whoa.
Yeah.
they didn't know really what to do. Or
I
think some of
them see her.
I think some of them were like, like some of their reactions were
maybe
like,
they'd seen her before.
Yeah,
okay.
like it was like, this again. And no disrespect, because it's brutal what happened and everything, and losing a loved one like that, and then being so dedicated to find them, and then never finding them is like heartbreaking. So that is sad.
So what did she say to you?
Then she said, "What are you guys doing here?" like 3 times, and then we were like, I forget what we said. We were like, just honoring the dead or something like that, along those lines. And then I remember she was so like aggressive in her tone, and just like her whole demeanor was just like very like aggressive. And not even just at me, at them also, at the other spirits, because then she started like saying, "Where's my husband? Where's my husband?" And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, no way, because I was like kind of doubting it a little bit. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. Like this lady, she's in white. She's looking for her husband. But it was in a totally different area of the park than where this guy had seen her, because it was around the same area of that parking lot for the Jenny Wade, or near the orphanage area. I think it was like just back behind it where that monument was. And I think that's why they brought that up. But then she was like hitting the soldiers, being like, "Where's my husband? Like, who knows where my husband is?"
Attention. They were trying to, walk away.
And they were like, like, we don't know. We have no idea. And it seemed like they were a little annoyed, which I was like, like, I couldn't really say anything, because number one, you're like, is this really happening? Like an argument on the other side right now? What is that? And then Dr. Z, I remember he was like, I forget what he was saying. He was asking like why she was freaking out or something like that. And then I remember she got in his face, and he said he could feel
like something was right there.
Something was right there.
See it again.
But then I remember like some of the Union guys stood in front of him
to protect.
When she came out of nowhere, and he said he could feel that like someone was there. And I remember it was pretty cool and stuff. But then I remember talking with some of the other spirits who were there, and they said they had never even heard of the husband. And I forget if she said the name or not. I have it written down somewhere if I did hear it. But yeah, no, I remember she was just like so like distraught, and she did eventually like settle down, but she was like pacing like back and forth, like searching everywhere. And it was sad to see, because I mean, if that happened to you, it'd be like, you try and do whatever you could to find someone. And yeah, I don't know. I think there was a lot of honor in what she was doing.
I remember. So then I came out to you guys. It was like a I don't know, couple. It was like 100 yards away or something. And then you were saying, "The lady's here. The lady in white is here." And I said, "Well, does she, like, I think I said, does she want to be in the book or something, remember?" And then she said, no. But she was calm then. She wasn't as aggressive, but because we were just like, that's amazing, because we just heard about that like 2 to 3 weeks ago or a month ago, and then you're telling me you see it. I remember before you got out of the car, though, you said, "I see something, looks like a lantern or something moving around, bopping around by itself."
And now that I think about it, I feel like I had seen that lantern before, at different times, but I didn't really like...
You didn't know who was holding it.
And I didn't see anyone holding it. I just saw a lantern out in the distance.
So that was cool.
I mean...
you're like, I think she's here, and then she was. So then she just walked away, or she's like, gonna keep looking?
Then she was still looking and still asking people, and I forget what I was trying to say. I was like, well, like, what if he didn't die here? Like, what if he was somewhere else?
Here in another battle.
And then that's when she was like, "I know he's here." She said that, and I was like, "I don't know." Wow. And then she just kept on saying, "I know. And that's like kind of the last thing she was really saying. that we could really get a grasp of.
And I don't. Did you ever see her again? Ever?
I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Well, I
so.
mean, when we went back many more times, I don't think you ever mentioned that you ever saw her again.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch the next time we go now. Oh.
She's behind you.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm playing. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a sad story, but it was crazy how real it was. Like in the moment, like with all the temperature changes and seeing how they were reacting with each other, I was like, oh my gosh. This is such a crazy moment for me, and I think for all of us. It was just like, I could see her, and she also, when I saw her, she wasn't, didn't look exactly like the other ones. Like with the hue and everything, she looked more like us, but like lit up a little bit, like with a light. And we're back.
We're back, yeah.
Like we never left.
We didn't. Yeah, we never left.
So yeah, no, that was
that was amazing because it confirmed that lady was there, like the people had said, and the guy said, because you're like, oh, I don't know, like even people listening to this, they're like, I don't know, does that happen? But I will tell you, it was amazing, what Paul could see, what we felt and experienced, and others have felt this, and some people get, like voices on the voice phenomenon or the spirit box. Others get pictures. I mean, it'd be cool if they had like a forum and everyone could come together and bring what evidence they have, and that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
So like spiritual forum or something. I think they might even have one there, but I've never gone to it. That would be cool.
Copyright infringement, right?
Exactly. So, what else you want to talk about?
Actually, I think I'll turn it back to you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But yeah, so like when we started mentioning how 2019 was a dark period and stuff like that, end of 2018, early 2019, and all throughout 2019 and 2020, we had some really crazy stuff happen, and I'm not totally sure when it was, but you know what I'm thinking about? The voice.
Yeah.
When was that? That was
probably...
Was it warmer?
It was like spring or early
April?
Summer.
April or May?
Probably, maybe...
Was it Memorial Day? No.
No.
Not quite?
Actually, it could have been. It doesn't matter, but...
Somewhere around there?
Yeah, it was before summer. And do you think it was 19?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it was 19.
Yeah.
It was 19, definitely. So, yeah. Yeah, no.
And what happened then? I think we were like the only ones in Gettysburg with our friend Tom.
Yeah, no, I remember that was crazy. So we'd just been doing our usual thing, going around, and then we were going to 20th Main area. And what was it? I remember like we were just taking pictures and stuff. And I think there was a couple things going on now that I think about it. I think that wing thing was also acting up, because remember I saw like the guys, they were freaking out together in 20th Main, and then all of a sudden I heard like some booming voice overhead and everything, and we won't say exactly what it said in this episode because we kind of want to leave you guys on a little bit of a cliffhanger, sorry, but we want to bleed into the next episode with what happened. But we were just taking pictures, and then all of a sudden it was like echoing over all of us. And what? We know
but
you're there.
But it was only you that could hear it.
Yeah,
Tom and I
was freaking
anything,
out.
But I know you were.
Yeah,
you were freaking out.
It was rough. Yeah, and they were saying...
and you said it was like in the sky. It was like all over Gettysburg.
Yeah.
How you described it.
Yeah, it was like someone had like, I don't even know how many speakers, but it was booming just everywhere. I couldn't hide from it.
Deep voice, like you said, like Thanos from...
Something like that, yeah. Darth Vader. No, not quite that.
Well, you want to tell them what it said. You can tell them for this one because we've had interactions with this after that.
Yeah.
So they want to hear what it said.
Yeah.
What did it say?
So they were saying, what? It was like, we know you're there.
It said, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yeah. Those were the first words.
Yeah. But it was deep, like, right?
Yeah, it was like something like that, and it was just like almost like a growl to it.
But
like,
it was
at
very
the
loud.
end.
Again, I know you were like cramping your pants. You're like,
Yeah.
can we shut down the prayer? That's like that's what we do. We have
Because I couldn't escape it.
to Archangel Michael's prayer. So I remember that you're like, can we close it? Can we close it? And you were very nervous. And so again, we're like, wow, what is that? And then you were like, let's close it. So we did close it at that point.
Yeah.
But we were getting pictures too.
We had been.
Now, at that moment, didn't you see like a guy running out of like 20th Main, like missing his arm or something?
Yeah, it was like all bloody and.
So that's like
missing.
in the videos that we did when you were like 14, to like 15.
Let's not
old.
Play those.
Funny voice, the young voice.
No.
But I remember you said there's a guy running. And this bird thing, like, it would look like what? Like a pterodactyl, which you talked about before.
Like the Jeepers Creepers thing.
Yeah. What was that doing? Could you see it then? Or you could hear it?
I remember I could see it, like, flying overhead.
Because you've seen it, like,
multiple
at Pickett's
times.
Charge. You've seen it
I've
there.
seen it multiple times.
You've seen it at Big Round Top, I think. With
driving
Vince.
around, I think. I've seen... I've seen the guys be on alert, like hiding under cannons, in both Confederate and Union. So this is present day.
It's like, I don't know, I think we might have said that or not, but it was like you said, it was in the now.
Yeah.
And we asked, is this in the now? And they said, this is in the now. That's why they're at peace. And they're together hiding under cannons and, under walls and stuff because this thing flies around. And, that was... I remember how scared you were because you just said this thing is loud and I don't know if it's coming after me.
And that was just the beginning of it.
Because it was actually calling you out.
Yeah, and I remember when I almost felt like I was going to faint because of how loud it was.
Yeah.
Like it was like you're standing right next to the jumbo speakers at a concert.
Yeah.
And it was just like you felt it like
booming
in you.
Yeah.
Like, pause. You felt it like just beating in your chest.
Yeah.
Like how it is at a concert.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just remember I was like, oh my gosh, like this is brutal. And definitely the beginning of a very dark time.
So we never had that before.
No.
You'd seen the lurcher thing on the bridge, but you didn't really interact with it or talk to it.
Yeah, no,
this was something new.
Yeah.
That at the time when you heard the voice, you couldn't see it though. Correct?
No.
You just I remember you saying it's like in the sky, but and then we're like, is it over by Little Round Top on the top there? And you're like, no, it's like overhead. It's blasting.
I think we also started driving a little bit. Yeah. I think we did a little bit, and then I was like, okay, we gotta definitely like stop,
close the prayer,
say the prayer, because I remember I was still hearing it while we were driving, and it was laughing.
But you couldn't see anything then. Yeah, it was laughing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it had like I said, like it had like almost like a growl sound to it, like something like that. I can't even replicate
at one point,
it.
I don't know if it was the same time. Both Tom and I it might have been the same time, but we both saw like red eyes and heard a growl, which heading looking down towards like Colonel Chamberlain's brothers. Is that his statue, Thomas?
Yeah, Thomas.
Looking down towards the statue, we saw two red eyes, and we heard a growl there.
Yeah.
I think it might have been the same day, but but we didn't. I didn't hear that, and Tom didn't hear that either. That was, amazing, and I could tell you were definitely disturbed by it. So
that was freaky.
What do you think? We'll stop right there.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Okay.
We're back.
Thank you. And like we said, if you do go see Annabelle, make sure you say a prayer of protection and and respect. Okay. And
definitely.
God bless.
And thank you. And those pictures will be in the beginning.
Put them in now. So.
Thank you.
Have a happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody, and thank you to all of our fallen heroes that gave all for our freedom from all of our wars. Thank you, guys. God bless.